Sorry, everyone. I saw you were all here, and I just need some help, guys. You know, it's hard, asking people for help, and but I'm here, and I'd really be grateful if someone can help me. I just saw you all here, and it's difficult. I don't need money. I just need something, but what that something is, we all need. Because what we are and what we have and what we need are three different things. So this time 3 years ago, I was homeless due to conflict, post-traumatic stress-based conflict. And all I had in life, I had a family and a child and everything, a wonderful business, but what it ended up was, all I ended up was with this blanket, and that was a hard thing to come to terms with. And it was really difficult to ask people for help. When you do ask, being homeless and needing help from people, you're basically invisible. People don't want to help because of the perceptions of what people see. They don't think that you need the money. They don't think that you need the food. They just believe whatever society has put the perceptions on them of what they think I'm going to spend the money on. But it was a terrible thing. But as I say, 3 years ago, I've come a long way to get myself into recovery and to get myself onto a good track. I found out about semiotics, which is meaning making, how the mind perceives different objects and can turn them into something better. So, as I say, like the bit of performance piece when I came in to see, would anybody help me? I'm not saying that none of you people would, and some would, but today we're going to, have a bit of interaction. So, do you have something? Yeah, thank you. Cheers. So can everyone see this? Yep. What is it? An apple, yes. But in semiotics and perceptions, there's many other aspects to it. It's red, so that's also the color of blood. So there's a lot of pain there. And an apple basically is the sign of evil, if we look back to Adam and Eve and the initial sin. So, and do we have someone else? Thank you. So what's this, everybody? Yep, it's an orange. And again, we can look and we can change that because we don't know when we bite into an orange after we peel it. And we can, it may be sour, it may be sweet. There's a lot of aspects, different things. And I run a nonprofit called Create Real Change, where I help people with mental health issues express themselves through film and creativity. And one of the particular people that I work with was an addict, homeless and everything, and they got themselves back on track. And their initial time was because of oranges. It was their trigger because they could track back to when they were in high school. And their high school colors were orange, and they had a lot of trouble with bullying and stuff, and they were able to look back into that to decide that was their initial time of resentment. So the color orange was a lot of triggers for them. Do we have another? Thank you. This? No, it's a small tree. But no, it's broccoli, and this is from my own recovery, because it's green, and I think you can probably tell by my accent that I'm not originally from here. I'm just from Murray down the road. But yeah, so green represented Ireland, it represented the IRA, and that was my initial, growing up and all my conflict-based stuff. So, like just seeing green would send me into flashbacks, because the mind can be a wonderful thing, but it can also be a terrible thing, and it doesn't know what it's dealing with. So that was the broccoli. And then we have one more. Thank you. Is everyone? Yes, a banana, a whisper banana. So this was the whole antithesis of my full recovery into sobriety and get me off the streets and everything. And it was basically a banana because, as I mentioned, I had conflict-based post-traumatic stress from the conflicts and troubles of Northern Ireland. I was on the hit list for a while, just basically because of my situation of being Protestant. And my main flashback was that I would get, dragged out of a car on the ground with a gun to my head and ask specifically whether I was Catholic or Protestant. And if I gave the wrong answer, then that would be the end of me. But so for years and years, this flashback continued to haunt me. And it was so bad sometimes that I would wake up and I would feel the muzzle of the gun on my forehead. And I was at a party a couple of years ago, and these two little children came up to me, and they had bananas, and they were using them as guns, and they shot me with the banana. And the exact opposite happened than what you're thinking happened, because I was able to use that, to use the semiotics, to use the perception, to change the conflict in my head and replace the image of a banana as the gun. So now whenever I have that flashback, sometimes I can always see the gun. Because there's so much conflict in the world, and we got to find ways to change, find new ways to make things better, to help people. So we've got Catholic and Protestant, we've got Israel-Palestine. People here seem to think the biggest conflict is BYU and you. And for everybody that's watching elsewhere, we can say Red Sox, Yankees, but there's bigger fish to fry. But a banana can be lots of things. Today, specifically, it's a smile. It can also be a frown like that too, but I do enjoy it. It's a good smile. Like bananas are great because when you peel them, they reveal something else, just like us. And they also get bruised, just like us. So my nonprofit is Create Real Change. I work with the VA for post-traumatic stress. I work in recovery and treatment centers and things like that. And as you can see that we all work together, a bit of interaction there to create some happiness from inanimate objects. So that's what I try to do. And that is how we can, bridge building change through semiotic perceptions. Thank you very much. Thank you.